Okay, let's see what is streams. So in Java, input output is handled with streams. So you may ask, what is a stream? So actually you can consider a stream as a sequence of data flowing from one place to another, right? For example, it's useful if you think the stream as a buffer of data going one way to the other, right? So an input stream flows from an input source. That input source can be keyboard, file, or etc. So this stream flows into a program in order to be stored in variables. We also have output stream. So an output stream actually flows from a program to an output destination. This output destination can be screen, file, network socket, right? So as you see, the difference between input stream and output stream is the difference between the source and the destination, right? In Java, we have three stream objects. The first one is system.in. So system.in is an stream object for standard input. The second one is system.out. System.out is another stream object in Java for standard output. And system.er, which is a stream object for standard error, right? So in Java, all of the input-output libraries are stored inside the package java.io. So in a program, in order to use these libraries, you need to keep in mind to import this package. You may be interested to see the classes that exist in this package. So easily by clicking on this link, package 3, you can see the hierarchy of java.io classes. So the built-in stream classes in Java are for processing different types of data. And we have two primary categories. The first one is byte streams, and the second one is character streams. So as you see, byte streams is suitable for streams of bytes and character stream is suitable for streams of character. So let's see what are these classes related to these two categories. The first one is input stream. So input stream is the base class for byte stream input classes, right? So when the stream is in the type of byte, then you need to use input stream for input. The other one is output stream. That's the same as input stream. It's a base class for byte stream, but for output classes. The other classes that are suitable for character streams are reader and writer. So reader is actually the same as somehow input stream. It's for, input, suitable for input, but for character stream. And writer is the same, its functionality is the same as output stream, but it's for the stream of character. Let's see how we can read and write with files. File is a class used for retrieving properties of files or directories on a disk. Right? Objects of class file don't open file or provide file processing features. Text files we have text files and we have binary files. So in text files, what we have is character-based streams. And in binary files, what we have is byte-based streams. We have two types of files, sequential files and random access files. In sequential file, there is no regular record structure. So when you are going to read the records, you need to read the entire file sequentially. But for random access file, the records, accessing the records are different. You can access the records sequentially, or you can access them anywhere in the file. We have four basic classes for file input-output. File input stream, file output stream for byte streams, file reader, and file writer for character streams. So let's see one example in input and output file. So we have the main class, so public, static, void, main, string args. First, we are going to declare input and output file streams. And we are going to initialize them to be null. So, file input stream FIS is a file input stream with the value of null, and file output stream FOS is the file output stream with the value of null. Then we are going to check the usage. So if args dot length is not 2, we will print the message. So usage Java for example byte stream from file to file. And then we exit. So system dot exit, right? Here we are going to check an exception, file not found exception. So if we don't find this exception, for example, we are going to try and if we find this exception, then the catch statement will be executed. File not found exception. So if this exception has not occurred, then we are going to first create the file input stream. File input stream is going to be new file input stream, new file arg0 then we are going to create file output stream if the file does not exist, right? So file is going to be new file. So we are creating an object of the file here, and then we check if the file does not exist. So if file dot exists, then we are going to print the message file already, for example, with this number already exists, right? So file args1 already exists. And if a file does not exist, then the else statement is going to be executed. So file output stream, or FOS, is going to be, as you see, we are creating a new object of file output stream. Right? So if we want to see from the first, so we created one file input stream, initialized it to null, one file output stream, initialized it to null. Then here we check, as you see, the number of arguments for input output, right? If is not 2, then we are going to print the message, this message. Here we check the exception of file not found exception. So if we don't catch this exception, then we are going to, as you see here, create a file input stream, an object of file input stream, right? An object of file, then we check whether file exists or not. If it exists, we say yes, it already exists. If not, then we are going to say, for example, file output stream is going to be an object of file output stream, an object of this class, right? And if we catch the exception, then what we are going to do is we are going to print file not found. System.out.println file not found. Right? And if we catch the input output exception, we are going to print system.out.println the message for input output exception. So .get message, right? And finally, anyway, if this part is going to be executed, so Again, we are going to check the exception for input-output exception. So if this exception does not happen, then we are going to close our files. So if is not null, then we are going to close this file. That's the same for FOS, right? And if this exception happens, we are going to say system.out.println. We are going to print the message EX, right? So as you see in this example, what we did was we declared an input and output file streams and initialized it to be null. And then, as long as we don't have the exception of input-output exception and file not found exception, what we do is we are going to initialize, we are going to assign value to these file input stream and file output stream. So file input stream is going to be an object of the class file input stream that as an input argument is going to get an object of the class file, right? So actually, by this, what we do is that's an object, right, that gets the input from the user, right? And then we also assign a value to file output stream. So if file output stream already has a value, we will print this message. And if it doesn't have a value, then we will assign a value to this one as well.